Welcome to the Nerdvana podcast for the final review of October. If you are just joining us right now, my name is John Murphy, amateur filmmaker and digital content producer for my local news.
And I'm Ian Benoit, alligator caretaker, though I do take care of a bunch of other stuff now. And getting into amateur filmmaking, you'll be seeing another production from me next month on John's channel as well. And I know I'm intruding on your channel there, John. And as evidenced by my set, big Jurassic Park geek, more so than John, I have to say.
Well, I'm a movie geek, so any kind of movie. So, in the spirit of Halloween, I am wearing a T-shirt with my favorite classical movie monster, the Invisible Man. It's actually quite a unique and very simple costume to make. But anyway, it is near the end of October, and so for this month, we are going to be tackling the final movie in the Back to the Future franchise, Part 3. So as we start, I got my Coca-Cola, I got my Made in the 90s hat. Ian, you've got Wikipedia open, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's right down here, yep.
All right, so don't worry, the others will be joining us soon, although I don't know about... I can guarantee Tyler will be joining at sometime in the future. If he ever gets here. So anyway, let's begin, shall we? All right, so Back to the Future Part 3 came out in 1990, which is why I'm wearing this hat. So it is my birth movie. It is the final film in the trilogy, and decides to shake up the entire franchise by making it a Western, of all things. And honestly, Part 3 is actually my favorite of the sequels.
It really is. It's a lot better than Part 2.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because it's essentially movie 1, just in a different setting, which is weird.
Yeah,
because we've mocked movies before that seem to rehash, like the first movie. I mean, there's Ghostbusters too. I've mocked Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom for essentially being the Lost World.
Well, I got some stuff to say about the Lost World and how that's technically a remake as well, but
all right. But I don't know I don't know. For part 3, I think it's probably not just the setting that kind of makes it a little bit, refreshing to the same story and plot line. I think maybe because it focuses more on the character of Doc.
it really does. I mean, the past two are more on Marty, and this is a interesting but welcome take, I must say.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, we will be talking about our experiences, but first let's talk. But I guess we can talk about how does it begin with a recap of the ending of the first movie, which was also the ending of the second movie. The clock tower scene appears in all 3 movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. And honestly, I'm glad. I can never get tired of it.
Honestly, it's a great storytelling device. It establishes where you are without having to say anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, if you haven't seen the first movie or the second movie, here's a little recap.
Although, if you haven't seen them, what are you doing with your life?
Yes, of course. That's a question we constantly ask on this channel.
Because these are good movies.
These are very good movies. These are very good.
There's a reason why we're reviewing them.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. This movie was my very first introduction to Back to the Future, although I wouldn't know it was Back to the Future at the time. I mentioned this when we were talking about the first movie, how I actually caught the tail end of part 3 with the time traveling train, and seeing the train fly off and come towards the screen. Now let me tell you something. A little kid whose latest experience with trains was loud noises. Let me tell you, that's kind of a little bit frightening to a 4-year-old. And then you see a train coming towards you from the screen. You think, oh my God, oh God, it's gotta come towards me. All right. So, Ian, I don't know, did you mention how you first came across Back to the Future? Like just the franchise?
I did in our when we reviewed Back to the Future earlier this month. I said that my very first experience was Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it was there was a preview for October 21st, 2015 there for a special edition for that day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We actually recorded. I know it wasn't really that long ago, but with our work in our daily lives, it does kind of feel like it was so long ago. Time's going by faster than it used to back in my day.
Gosh, John, you sound so freaking old.
I am old, and I gotta accept it.
You're not as old as some of the shit in my room. Things collect dust after a while.
Yeah, like I said, this movie's as old as me. It came out in 1990. But you know what other movie came out in 1990?
Alien 3?
No,
that came out 91, 93. Didn't
it? No. Tremors featuring
yeah.
Michael J. Fox's co-star Michael Gross.
No, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
remember? All right.
Yeah, oh Jesus.
So 1990 was the end of one franchise and the beginning of another.
In terms of sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Although, would Tremors be a science fiction movie? kind of ish
Horror? I don't know.
horror comedy. There's the debate. Is Tremors science fiction?
I don't
But
know.
we will answer that another time.
I feel like that would be in a class of its own.
Horror comedy.
Then it would be on the same shelf as Shaun of the Dead.
I've never seen that.
Never seen. Wow.
I don't get out much.
Okay. Okay. All right. So the whole point of the movie is that we have established that Doc time traveled back to the old west of Hill Valley, and the initial plan was, of course, Marty was going to just go back to 1985 and destroy the time machine, but there's a little hiccup in the plan.
Yeah, they find something.
They find the tombstone of Doc Brown that was dated a week after he wrote the letter. And so since the 1955 Doc kind of knows about his future, and because Doc, Marty is still kind of in that weird perspective how he's alive, but technically he's not. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Time travel's still weird. Anyway, he decides to travel back to 1885 to rescue Doc and bring him back home.
Unfortunately, there's another hiccup in the plan. And this is your law again.
Murphy. Yeah, well, at least it's not as bad as it was in part 1.
It gets pretty freaking close.
Yeah, I think in terms of just getting the DeLorean to time travel, not so much. But anyway, yeah, Marty does travel back to 1885 with the help of 55 Doc and repairing the DeLorean because the time travel is so very weird. Essentially, the 2015 DeLorean, the 1985 DeLorean that traveled back to 1885 is stored in a mine next to a cemetery that will be recovered to 55. Then it's repaired with 55 parts and components, and then it's traveled back to 1885. And now there's now two DeLoreans in 1885. Don't think about that too much. Your brain's gonna hurt already. My brain's hurting already.
And once they get there, there's another kink in the hose.
More like a leak in the hose.
Yeah. John, what does Marty do driving off-road?
He rips a fuel line.
And in 1885, Hill Valley, California, there's no gas.
There's no gas station because wait.
No gas.
I was gonna say
there's no cars.
There's no cars, and I was gonna say there's also no oil, but didn't they use oil?
Yeah, they used oil for lubrication of machinery and whatnot.
Like what we saw the conductor on the train use.
Yeah,
that makes sense. They didn't know it could be used as a fuel source.
No, there were oil lamps.
Oh yeah, that's right.
News from Weird Al.
Huh, okay.
He is unable to join.
He's
stuck in 1993.
He's stuck in 1993?
Yeah, he is. It's not working out too well.
Oh boy. Let me guess. T-Rex scenario?
Worse.
What's worse than a T-Rex?
Raptors.
Oh, crud. Yeah, that is worse. Raptor scenario. Well, let's hope he gets out of there safely.
He better. We need him next month.
That's right, yeah. All right, so now we just get... All right, well...
Hopefully Tyler shows up.
Well, So Matt is...
He's still flying through time right now, right?
Yeah, he is. Matt's unable to join us for right now. But like you said, Tyler hopefully will be able to join in. Anyway, yeah. Martin. Actually, I kind of think that was so. Going back to what we were talking about, Marty rips a fuel line. And I gotta say, was that genius writing or just lazy writing to kind of do that, to just try to make it so we gotta keep these guys in here?
Both.
It's both.
It can be looked at either way, because instead of driving on one of them, well, he couldn't drive on main road because, let's see, DeLorean in 1885 would seriously mess some things up. So he would have to drive in the sticks where there's no roads. So obviously he's gonna have to. It's decent writing.
Okay, I guess it is a little bit decent.
Because there's no way around it really without causing major hiccups.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the worst that could have been done was that the balancers, the axles, could have been thrown off balances, or the connectors where the wheels go on could have been kind of thrown off. So there's there's no smooth wheelness. Wheels would kind of go like that when rolling.
So they would just come out of alignment. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Alignment. That's the word I was looking for.
I was trying to figure out what you were saying.
They would have come out of alignment. Yeah, I'm not much of an automotive head. All right. So, of course, with Back to the Future Part 3, we can have some of the technical advances in that we saw in Part 2, such as, clones. Essentially, Marty McFly meets himself in a way, and though technically it's
not.
It's technically not. I mean, all right. He stumbles across his. You know what I just realized? We're just falling back to the old formula.
We are. Why are we don't have Tyler here?
I guess not. No.
Well, how else do we do this?
How did we? I don't know. We did it okay with Part 1.
And Part 2 was really good.
Oh yeah, Part 2 was very good. I was like, okay.
Shoot.
Ian, have you watched many Westerns?
I've seen a few. My favorite one has to be The Magnificent Seven.
Which one?
The original.
There you go. That's actually based on a Japanese movie.
Yes, The Seven Samurai.
Mm-hmm. I own them. I own both of them.
Ooh, we should do one of those. At some point, because we're already doing a Western now.
Yeah. Let's see. How about Blazing Saddles?
I have never seen Blazing Saddles.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Blazing Saddles is actually one of Mel Brooks's best movies. And actually
I only know one quote from that movie because I've seen it everywhere.
Really?
Yes.
What is it?
Hey, where are the white women at?
Actually, one of the actors from Blazing Saddles is in Back to the Future Part 3. He's in the third movie. He's the Colt salesman, that had that shooting game.
Yeah.
That's the guy in the red shirt and black vest. Lyle, as his name is. He's one of the bad guy. He's one of the bad guys. Does this mean
we're doing Blazing Saddles in February?
No, or later, or maybe later. I don't know. Why February?
Well, we don't have anything planned for February, do we?
Yes, we do.
What? Oh, that's right, your Batman thing.
Yes.
March.
Do we have anything for March?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Hello.
Who's there?
A dog.
Oh, the dogs. Oh, camera shy.
Yeah. Willow, go on. Go on, girl.
All right. Okay, so yeah, it was actually that was kind of funny.
Hey, where
There's a lot more. There are a lot more funny quotes in Blazing Saddles than that. Of course, none of them are not. None of them are. Most of them are not really quotable in today's age, especially on the internet.
Who cares?
All right.
But yeah, that's now on the list apparently.
Yes, it is.
All right. But back to freaking catchphrase at this point. Back to the Future.
You know who I actually like? I liked the bad guy. I liked Buford Tannen in this one. I like Buford Tannen. He's actually my favorite bad guy out of all the other Tannens in the trilogy.
Yeah.
And
which brings up an interesting point for me. Is every guy in Buford's family this weird chauvinistic, you might need to bleep this, dick?
Everyone like a bad guy or a bully, something.
I guess.
I think what's worrisome is the women that actually fall for him, for the males in this family, because they must not be. They're either not very happy, constantly fighting with him, or they are just or divorced, just absolutely, and now happy that they no longer have him in their lives.
So it was a fling, constantly for 100 freaking years, maybe more.
Yep. But then again, this is more of a family movie, so it's. Are
we overanalyzing this again?
I think we might be.
That's what we do when we don't have Tyler here.
No, but that was a good question that you brought up. That bad genes. I mean, when the genes are bad, you just throw them out. No, but
we don't need that crap influencing the genetic effluence. Your evolutionary tree should be a cul-de-sac. It has no output.
I think in Tannen's case, the family tree is more of like a straight line, does not fork at all.
John, you're bringing up. No, we're not going down that road. No.
Oh god. Oh boy. There we go. Now I feel like we're back to form.
No, John.
All right. Well, the reason why I like Buford Mad Dog Tannen the most is because honestly, I loved how Thomas Wilson really acted like that. I did not think it was him. Mostly because of all the dirt and the beard and the voice. He was really great.
Oh, absolutely.
In differentiating Biff from Buford.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Well, all right. What did you like about part 3?
It's just a change in scenery, which can do wonders for a movie, especially a series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in part 2, we went to the future, and which was a good change. It didn't last the whole movie, but it was different. And this one, we go from super high-tech, futuristic shit to literal horse shit in the roads.
Yes, can't get any more low tech unless you go to the Stone Age.
But it's such a good change in scenery, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
It doesn't always fix the movie, but if done well and with purpose, it can work wonders for a series.
Yeah, and it kind of does. Like
Then once again, we nostalgize and romanticize the Western quite a bit. There's this whole American culture around it, and this movie really played into that.
It did. I think for kids that idolize the Old West, with the whole the cowboys and horse riding, that kind of thing. I think this kind of pretty much puts it in mind. Yeah, those horses actually shat on the road, so you could step in that stuff.
It's not bad.
It what?
It's not that bad.
I
grew up around horses.
Oh yeah,
not that bad.
I'm sure. I don't know.
Although I'm pretty sure I've gotten used to the smell. So.
Oh boy. I loved Doc's entrance when he when he saved Marty. Oh, by the way, did you know Michael J. Fox really was hung from that? I mean, he actually.
I figured as much.
I mean, something kind of went wrong during that take, and he actually slipped into unconsciousness. So yeah, he almost died.
Oh.
He actually went into detail about it in his autobiography, which I had at one point, but I don't know where it is anymore.
Watch it be in a box in a stupid place. That's where all this stuff ends up.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, good God, like the fact that he really was hung. Like normally, there's supposed to be like for stunts like these, there's like a special grip that they're taught, like when someone grabs the hair. We saw this in RoboCop, when the RoboCop grabs one of the bad guys by the long hair, the bad guy just grabs him by the wrist, and so that kind of lessens the strain on that. Something kind of just went wrong. Like I think maybe either Fox just didn't grip in the right spot, or he missed his mark on something. Something just went wrong. I forget. I think it was that part that he might have detailed in the autobiography. But I'm glad he was okay.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
He is a national treasure.
Mm-hmm. So is Christopher Lloyd.
Yes, who just turned 85?
He did?
Recently.
85. All right, Wikipedia.
I think it was like a couple days ago.
All right, Wikipedia. There we go. Doc Christopher Lloyd, October 22nd, 1938.
Today's the 24th, 2 days ago.
Yep, 2 days ago. Yeah, he's in his 80s.
He must be preserved.
He'd be 83. 83, because 2018 he'd be 80.
Yes. Holy crap.
Oh, God, yes. Woo! Yeah. Just turned 83. Happy birthday, Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah, happy birthday. Great Scott! It's in the 80s.
Yes.
He's in the 80s.
He's in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah. Doc. It's nice that he actually got a badass moment.
Oh man, yes. Instead of his normal, somewhat cartoony, goofy self, this is.
I mean, we like that. We like that part. That's what's endearing about Doc. But it's always nice when it's always nice when the goofy ones get their badass moment.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Uh-huh.
And the line he says.
What was it? Which line?
it can take a fly off a dog's back at 200 yards cannon, and it's pointed straight at your head. I'm pretty sure I'm misquoting that, but you get my meaning.
We get the idea, yeah.
Excellent writing, excellent delivery, Mr. Lloyd.
Mm-hmm. You really like it. Yeah, that's good. That gun. I think that's that's definitely a Winchester. You know, judging by the lever.
Mm-hmm. Although it does look like he mounted a telescope on top of it.
Of course, he would do that.
Of course, he would. But that good, excellent delivery and badass moment for Doc Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I love his demeanor change too. I mean, he was there for a while. Obviously, would take on some of the mannerisms.
Yeah, about 9 months. Yeah, he was there for 9 months.
So yeah, he would definitely pick up some of the mannerisms to survive there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he also learned not to put up with any BS anymore.
Yeah.
Especially for Tannen, because he generally tried to tiptoe around things in the first two movies whenever someone became somewhat confrontational. A little bit? Maybe? Am I misremembering?
I don't know. He wasn't in a lot of confrontations, though.
True. But I mean, in this case, it was his friend getting hung.
Yeah. Well,
wrongly, I might add.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew it was his friend, but I think he knew that it was Buford and his gang up to no good once again.
Hmm. He probably heard all the commotion of them dragging someone through freaking town.
I mean, how could you not? I mean, there was gunshots everywhere.
So that would give him plenty of time to grab that freaking badass gun. I want one. John, make me one.
I'll see what I can do.
Get a telescope. That's step one.
I can find a toy lever action. A toy lever action and add a telescope to it. And a reticle to it. And that'd probably be the best I can do.
But this movie is, I don't know, it adds a lot of new stuff. We see Marty and his, I don't want to say romantic moments in the first movie, but
Marty's romantic moments?
Yes, with his mom.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose I should frame that better. Trying to set his dad up with his mom.
Yes.
And in this one, we see that it's Doc that has the romantic parts in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know if Mutt is, but it's not Marty who's actually trying to set them up. It's really him just waiting out the time when they can go time travel again, they're just waiting out the train.
Yes. And all this other stuff happens.
Oh yeah, the other stuff happens. I think it is actually just it's kind of nice to see, Doc Brown. It does have the focus be on Doc Brown for a bit, for a majority of the
most of the movie. Yeah, it's good to see. Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of nice to. I like how we get to know more about Doc Brown through this. Like we realized that as a kid he read a lot of Jules Verne, and that's kind of what inspired him. That's what inspired him to write, or not write, to inspired him to be a scientist.
Good choice. I've read Journey to the Center of the Earth.
I remembered reading that because of Back to the Future, but I can't remember a majority of it. But I do remember also reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I've not read that one. But that does bring up an interesting point. Jules Verne wrote those books relatively recently to when they went back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. According to Clara, about 10 years ago, so 1875.
Yeah. And this brings up an interesting point. When you go back in time, what happens if you tell someone you're from the future? It brings up an interesting quandary.
Yeah. That is. I mean,
there and then you're already changing things.
Sorry about that. Tyler sent me a message through the time stream. Apparently he can't. Apparently he's trying to find the entry point for us.
Oh.
Right, must be
send him the coordinates.
Must be. I think we got some interference.
Goddamn time traveling bastard. I told him to stay away from your DeLorean, John. Why did you give it to him?
He swore he would have it back in a minute. I thought he meant literally.
Did he only take it for a minute? For his time?
No, he technically took it for a few hours.
What am I going to do with you two?
Well, let's see. Could either disconnect yourself from us and then live out a normal life taking care of alligators.
There's nothing normal about that.
Well, it's normal to you.
Too. Yeah, granted. But that's boring. I need some excitement in my life.
Well, this is exciting.
Trying to get your best friend through the goddamn time portal. Tyler!
Luckily, at least there is. We can still message each other through the time streams. You gotta love technology.
Have some damn good data.
Yeah, very good data.
How much did that plan cost?
More than any of us make in a year.
Ugh.
Worth it though. All right. So anyway, yeah. I mean, I loved learning about Doc. I mean, we loved him in the first two movies because of how eccentric he was. This one, we now learn how much of a person he really is. He's now a fully dimensional character. He loves science and he loved science, and then he's also human. I mean, he fell in love with someone, and it also turns out that this someone loves science and Jules Verne as much as he does. And isn't that what we all want? We want someone who has similar likes to us.
That's hard to find.
I know it is.
We should ask the married man when he gets through the goddamn time portal.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think the growth that Marty had was also very good.
Oh, absolutely, because in the second movie, he was all about you. Well, partially, he was just going to use time travel for personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
And what does Doc attempt to do here?
I don't see any personal gain from this.
He suggested bringing Clara with them.
Ah, yeah.
Which, honestly, that brings up an interesting point. She was supposed to die.
Here's actually the thing. So in 1985, the ravine would still be called the Clayton Ravine because you know how the butterfly effect and the chain of events and all that. In her grief after Doc's death, she tossed herself over the ravine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why it would still be called the Clayton Ravine.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's why it. Ugh. My brain hurts. Shit.
Yeah.
That sort of dark.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's dark when you actually think about it. It's dark when you think about it. That's the great thing. That's sort of the thing about Back to the Future is that if you think about it, you realize it is kind of dark. But what you don't,
twisted.
what you see in front of you is not so much. Like there was a scene that was deleted. Where Tannen actually murders Marshall Strickland. Yeah, you remember from the beginning, the party scene.
Yeah, I was wondering why he wasn't at the ending.
Because he was actually shot. He was actually shot by Tannen and his gang before they got to Hill Valley to duel with Marty. But that was cut. That was cut out because Zemeckis said that's a little bit dark for a family movie. I'm like, well, times have changed.
A family picture.
Yeah. For a guy in the time stream, he sure is taking his time. Speak of the devil.
Did I make it in time?
Well, yes and no. You're about 20 to 25 minutes late.
Oh man!
I told you to have the DeLorean back in a minute. I didn't mean a minute and 10 years from now.
Wait, this is not the first movie we're reviewing?
No, this is the third.
You're a month late for that one.
Damn it!
All right. Anyway, well, apparently we had some interference during the time stream, and you couldn't find my coordinates. I had to resend them to you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So how's everything going? How's everything going? We can't see you right now.
Well, just finally checked into my room. Checked into my room after a grueling 15-hour drive in a DeLorean.
All right. Well, for Back to the Future 3, we kind of talked about just the story being centered around Doc Brown. Buford Tannen as a really good bad guy, probably better than Biff and Biff. All of Biff.
And Biff.
Hold on, gents. But so you were talking about Griff being better than Biff?
Well, no, Buford. Buford Mad Dog Tannen.
Oh, Buford. Actually, yeah, he is. He's more intimidating, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And Mad Dog certainly lives up to the name.
Uh-huh. Which is funny.
Although I didn't see him drool.
No drool. It's funny. He's only referred to Mad Dog once in the movie.
And he gets pissed off about it.
Yeah.
Which is probably why.
No one calls me Mad Dog.
I told Ian how I really loved Thomas Wilson's performance as Buford Tannen, because I honestly couldn't tell with just between the makeup, the beard, and the voice, I could not tell it was the same guy who played Biff.
Oh man, that's talent there.
Very good talent.
That's something that's pretty lacking in Hollywood nowadays.
Mm-hmm. And we mentioned, how it was kind of great to actually focus on Doc, and to kind of see a little bit more behind the scientists. And I think before you came in, we kind of talked about how there's action that Back to the Future is actually dark when you think about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Honestly, there's a lot of things that it kind of fly past over kids' heads.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it,
exactly. And I'm gonna tell you, the one thing I did like about Part 3 was, as you said, the man behind the scientist, and we got to see more Doc of, rather than just being a scientist, he loves Jules Verne's. Oh my God, yeah, I mean, of course, but hey, out of all the scientists or authors you can admire, Jules Verne's is a good place to start.
Jules Verne. I wouldn't also discount H.G. Wells.
Oh yeah,
writer of The Time Machine and The Invisible Man.
Got the room number. Hold on. Give me.
Married life, John.
Uh-huh. Married life. Oh yeah, that's right. We were going to ask him.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's nice that not only did Doc find love, but also his eventual wife, but overall companion, loves science and Jules Verne as much as him. And I know, right? And I asked Ian, isn't that what we're all looking for? Just someone who has similar interests to us?
Oh yeah. No,
that's what we were
gonna married man.
That's what, yeah, we were gonna ask you that. How did you, since you're the only one of us who's married, well, here right now,
or in a relationship of any kind.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, I hate to break this to you. The irony is, we have only a couple things in common, but we are polar opposite in a lot of things.
So some common ground is needed, but it shouldn't be all common.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. She is. I don't like, Hunger Games. She does. No, there's a couple anime she doesn't like. I do. But there's a lot of common things that come along with a relationship. And so, I doubt Clara is an inventor. Doubt she'll ever be. She's a teacher. So, that's going to be the one point of... That's going to be the one point where they're going to not have not so common grounds, is that profession.
Yeah. That and Doc's in the future.
Yeah.
That too.
Actually, we did kind of see a little bit about that, with after the party, when Doc said that he never thought lunar geography was so fascinating, until Clara pointed it out.
John, one of the things that like I'm looking at it back right now, and I can't help but understand where Doc's coming from because one of the movies I did watch when I was a boy growing up with my dad, Journey Through the Center of the Earth.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I honestly could understand his fascination with Verns, considering I've been there myself.
And we've got Ian and I we've also experienced Jules Verne because it's funny. I experienced Jules Verne because of Doc Brown's fascination with it.
Of course, I'm not referring to the Brendan Fraser version.
Yeah, I figured that because you said you were with your dad. I kind of know you well enough to know a little bit about your own history. You mean the classical one?
Yeah, the one with the goose.
The goose.
Yes, it had an actor what was the goose.
From Top Gun?
No. An actual goose was a character.
Oh. Didn't Disney make it? Did Disney make that?
I think so.
Because they made 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. Oh, here you go, Max. Okay. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out to you, gents, about the fascination of this, Western, is Siskel and Ebert's reaction to it.
Oh yeah, what were their reactions?
Siskel's, I don't know which one it was, but one of them said it feels like just every other Western. And so, we're here for it.
Okay.
The other one said, I like it because of that.
Okay. I can understand that.
So yeah, I got one thumbs up, one thumbs down, I believe.
Huh.
But yeah, no.
That's better than what Godzilla got.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much, I believe Ebert was saying that it wasn't breaking new grounds with the Western genre. It felt like everything that came before it. So it was just copy and pasting.
I think that was the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a point if it was time travel done accurately. So if it was accurate time travel here, wouldn't it be a lot different? Because we do have a romanticized version of the West.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I doubt the West looks like John Wayne and more like a fistful of dollars, but a lot dirtier.
So what you're saying is it looks like how it sounds in Dragon Teeth. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Good book, though. I recommend it.
All right.
But,
I said.
Sorry.
Like I said, I think that was sort of the point. It is a family picture.
But let's be honest.
So of course it wouldn't.
Let's be honest here. Every different type of. Sorry to jump in here, John. Every time they go to a different time that's not 1985, it is romanticized.
Oh yeah. Well, every
the future
has a romanticized version of the generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the future heavily romanticized and completely inaccurate. 1955.
Romanticized and forgetting a lot of the big deals back then.
Yeah, I think was heavily influenced, I'm sure, by the memories of Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale.
Yep. But remember, that's the era that people believe that America was great.
I know.
I'm pretty sure that a black band would not be playing in a high school dance during that time.
He wouldn't. He'd be lynched.
Probably, yeah. The whole band. But again, romanticized.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And what would be romanticized here? The Wild West being the usual thing?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, post-Civil War era Wild West.
One of the things I did like was the fact that Doc was, well, he was a damsel in distress like he typically was in a lot of things. He actually saved Marty.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
And
That's
his most badass scene ever.
Oh yeah, with a rifle that had like a telescope.
That was a Winchester repeater rifle. That was modified, most likely from Doc himself.
Probably, yeah. Also, continue on the entourage of what I was telling you guys last Back to the Future. The abuse that the DeLorean goes through in this one.
Oh, good God.
Oh, yes, that poor DeLorean.
First, it ruptured a fuel line after being hit with an arrow.
It wasn't hit with an arrow. Well, I don't think
It was hit with an arrow, but it
was
did
hit with an
rupture
arrow.
the fuel line.
I think it just I think fuel line was ruptured just from basic
off-roading.
Basic off-roading, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a DeLorean. I don't think you take those off-roading.
And the attempt to try to fix it backfired horribly.
Quite literally.
Yep.
Now their only chance to use it is to have a train push it.
Which I like the idea. I mean, you get a front row center on the train tracks in a car.
And then it was utterly demolished.
By another train.
Mhm.
Can we admire the fact that Marty fucks with history in a minor of ways?
In a minor, Marty's interference with history is pretty much textbook butterfly effect. Small changes that end up affecting big ways.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
first movie, Calvin Klein. No.
Calvin Klein, the skateboard.
And then, of course, in the third movie.
Oh wait, let's not forget Johnny Be Good.
Yes, Johnny Be Good. Then in the third movie, he changed the name of the canyon.
Yeah.
Although I think that probably might have been Doc's doing anyway.
Oh yeah, but considering it's renamed Eastwood Canyon because supposedly
He went
Marty's
over.
death.
But how did they know he went over?
It doesn't. I don't know.
Because he hijacked the train and drove it over.
They didn't know
as far as everyone there was concerned.
They didn't know he was that he hijacked the train. Him and
But
Doc had their face covered with masks.
Apparently they did because the sign says Eastwood Ravine or Clint Ravine.
All right, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just helping you try to connect the dots.
Yeah, I know.
Doc pretty much stayed in 1885 for a bit after Marty left.
You would have to tell everyone or tell them something because Clint Eastwood is gone and everyone in the town likes him.
Yes, he probably told the people of Hill Valley that Eastwood heard about a train robbery and stopped the bad guys, but couldn't stop the train. But couldn't stop the train from running.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that knowing Doc, that's probably what would happen.
It would happen. Honestly, it wouldn't be surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But oh man, like as a kid, I hated this movie. Funny enough.
How dare you?
And as a kid, you hated the 55 part in 1955 part of part 2. Right? Oh.
Hello?
You're back.
Hello, you're back.
Okay. What happened?
Well, you said
you muted yourself.
The last thing we heard was you said that as a kid you hated part 3, and I mentioned how as a kid you hated 1955 part of part 2.
Yeah. Looking as an adult, though, yeah, part 3 is a lot better and tighter in context of plot.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Out of the 2 sequels, part 3 is my favorite. And actually kind of what's odd, it is kind of a rehashing of part 1 in a way.
It is.
But they do it well.
Honestly, they did great. Honestly, part 1 was more or less a misadventure of Marty. Part 3 is more or less Marty and Doc. You can see the friendship.
Oh yeah, I think that's actually what's at the core of Back to the Future. There is a focus on that friendship.
Oh yeah, especially that picture of the clock tower.
Oh yeah,
that just wrecks my heart, man.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's just gold. Like, that's priceless memory.
I know.
That's
honestly, it kind of feels like maybe at the ending, Doc should have just decided to stay in 1985 because he doesn't want to be anywhere without Marty.
Honestly, I think he made the choice. Here's the thing. I'm actually happy Doc made his choice because he's picking his own destiny.
Yeah.
You got to think about this. People in Hill Valley think he's a nutso.
True. That's true.
Oh, so like us.
Remember, Principal Stickland warned Marty about working with him.
Yeah.
So, honestly, Doc probably has a better life to make new friends.
And I think that's also kind of what makes his connection with Clara so much more potent, palpable. What's the word I'm looking for? Special. Special. Because aside from Marty, Clara was the one person that actually saw Doc as an interesting person, not someone to be avoided. But then again, everyone in 19th century Hill Valley pretty much knew Doc pretty well as well. I mean, they were on good terms with him.
Oh yeah, in fact, they liked him better than the current, present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like that I love that exchange with him and the bartender, a heartbroken Doc, goes, Emmett, what can I get you? Your usual? No, I think I'm gonna need something stronger than that. Sarsaparilla, whiskey. Are you sure? You remember what happened to you last 4th of July?
That's why I love that exchange.
I want to see I don't care if it's like an animated thing, but I want to see the adventures of Doc in 1885.
Right?
That would be nice. You could get Christopher Lloyd, or you could get a very good voice actor.
Technically, you already did. It's called the Game.
Oh yeah, The Game.
Ooh, I have to look into that.
It continues off of that, especially about the train.
Nice.
No, the time travel train.
Oh, it's the most stupid yet awesome steampunk thing I've ever seen.
I love that train.
I was like, my kid's self was like, whoa, and that's the only part I liked as a kid. I was like, that train.
I saw that train with my own 2 eyeballs on my trip to Orlando, Florida. I went to Universal Studios. I went on the ride.
Oh damn!
It's gone. It's gone now.
Why?
It's gone now to make and replaced by the freaking Simpsons.
Really?
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The DeLorean is gone. The train is gone. Gotta find out if my sister still has the pictures from our trip to Orlando, because I knelt beside a replica of the flying DeLorean.
Dude.
And it was beautiful. I saw the train for myself.
Oh, dude.
Universal.
Why Universal?
Because
Hey,
train.
just be happy they're not trying to reboot it.
Yeah, me too. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
you know,
discussed that.
you know what? You know, to add insult to injury,
What?
they also shut down and tore apart the Jaws ride.
Oh, they didn't.
Yes,
Although,
they
wasn't
did.
that thing falling apart?
I don't know.
I think it was falling apart why they tore it down.
Whatever it is, they decided to. That area's now got a new ride. I forget what it is, but God
You don't
damn
care.
it. I don't.
Nothing compared to the old good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Alas.
And
But no. Here's the thing I liked about part 3 that when rewatching it as an adult, there's a lot of good quips, especially with the Doc giving Marty some wonderful advice of giving in to his rage at being called a chicken.
mm-hmm.
Because yes, that will come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
And I love how Doc didn't just solve it for him. Doc didn't just tell him what was going to happen to him in the future. He just told him the consequences of just jumping at the gun when being called a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that consequences was made clear when he challenged Buford and saw the gravestone change to his name.
Yeah. And that's kind of what led to like the greatest line switcheroo ever. Marty's the one that says "Great Scott,"
Yes.
and Doc says, "I know this is heavy."
Oh, man. I love that one. but no, what to say about part 3 that has been said before?
Well, you're okay. Well, you know, at the party, no, the band that plays, that is actually ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's actually ZZ Top, and they made it. And the reason why I bring that up is because, and that's mostly because one of the members of ZZ Top who appeared in the movie has died recently.
Oh.
Yes, named Dusty Hill.
No.
Mm-hmm.
That is a tragedy, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
it gets sort of worse, Tyler.
there's that. But
How
there
do
is
you make that worse?
there is something nice. There is something nice about it. Okay, here we go. There's something nice. And this is from IMDb. According to the book Billy Gibbons, Rock and Roll Gearhead, you know, he's the famous guitarist for ZZ Top. They were just hanging around the set, and they just asked to be the town band. During one take, the camera broke, and while waiting for it to be repaired, Fox just asked if they could play "Hey Good Lookin'," which they did. Afterwards, more requests started getting played, and then about 2 hours later, someone asked if the camera was repaired. Zemeckis replied that it had been fixed for quite a while, and he just didn't want to stop the party that had evolved.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm whispering and raspy. I'm in a hotel. It's like it's almost 10 o'clock at night over here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Decided
Where are you?
The Night's End.
the Night's in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Tennessee. I've been to Tennessee. There's nothing freaking there.
Except for mountains.
We have mountains out here. If you want better mountains, either go to the Rockies or go to New Hampshire.
I've been to the Rockies. I almost died.
I mean, I met a Rocky. Does that count?
All right, but I'll save that story for another time.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else can we talk about? Oh yeah, I asked what our favorite part was. Tyler, since you joined in late, What was your favorite part?
Waking Doc up was the special drink.
Oh, yeah. All I know is that Tabasco sauce is one of the ingredients.
Yes.
And I think there might have been some jalapeno juice too.
Ooh.
And pickle. I thought was that jalapeno juice?
I think that
pickle juice.
I think that was the jalapenos.
Ooh.
Could have been jalapeno juice, could have been pickle juice. I'm not sure, but clearly it needed to be something spicy. Which I'm sorry, Doc. Even if you dunk your head in the water, that's not going to get rid of the burning. You needed milk. You need milk for that.
A barrel of milk.
Any kind of milk. I had Taco John's jalapeno ranch with their fried chicken taco. Delicious, by the way. Even with the spice. And
you just depressed me. There's no Taco John's out here.
Oh, sorry, dude. But glass of milk just took away the burning, and I could go back to eating.
Let's see. Now, that was just one favorite part. The other one was, the unexpected of Marty driving into a wall of Indians. It was cool to see pictures.
And then turned into moving. I mean, it was funny because I'm sure in his mind he was going, Doc, you lied to me. You said those Indians wouldn't even be there.
If he just went 5 minutes later.
You think maybe those natives might have passed on the story of the strange horse carriage that they met down through the ants, the generations?
Maybe.
So Ian.
Yes.
How would the Indians describe what they saw?
The
DeLorean. How would you describe the DeLorean? Just imagine this.
Why are you asking me?
I think you're asking the wrong person.
I'm just asking the youngest member of his opinion.
Well, they knew about trains. The concept wasn't completely foreign.
Okay.
Yes.
Tiny off-road train? Weirdly shaped? I don't know.
The very small horseless carriage that shines like the moon.
I think Iron Horse.
Tiny Iron Horse. Well, that's what they called trains, Iron Horse. So, tiny Iron Horse. I don't know. That just appeared with a flash of light. I don't know.
But
apparently someone shot it.
But the last part that did amaze me as a kid, when the DeLorean did hit 88 miles and went off the incomplete bridge.
Oh yeah, you saw the fire You saw the fire trails just go off, levitating right into space.
So how did they do that, John? You being a film master, I doubt CGI.
I'm sure I think they might have just hand animated the whole thing like they did with the flames from the end of the first movie.
Okay.
Because it looked hand animated.
Doesn't make it less great.
Oh no, it doesn't. I'm actually kind of glad you mentioned that because I think, Ian, remember how I mentioned how the time travel scene at the end of the first movie was just Murphy's Law to a T? Everything that went wrong could go wrong.
Yes.
And yet because they succeeded, that just makes it so much more enjoyable. Here, there's not much of that. Not much goes wrong.
I mean, Marty, shooting off his mouth when he shouldn't be. But other than that,
No, I'm talking about the whole train sequence. Nothing really went wrong.
except when Clara got involved.
That's it. That's the only thing. I mean, no wheels were getting loose.
No wire were snapped off that you had to reconnect by swinging down like oh.
Mm-hmm.
It went very smooth, which I think was foreshadowing the destruction of the DeLorean.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. I think I saw something like. Here we go. To film the destruction of the DeLorean. No, right. Let's see. Right after return, the filmmakers consulted with the engineer of that very the diesel freight train that would smash the DeLorean to pieces. When asked if smashing the car might derail the train, the engineer replied, "Are you kidding? I've been waiting to do this my whole life." So
awesome.
I guess.
Let's be honest. A lot of us want to do that, except maybe not to a DeLorean now.
We kind of. Okay, not now, but we kind of do want to, like,
Destroy
smash a bunch.
cars.
We want to destroy cars. Yes.
That's why Monster Jam has such a high following.
Really?
Well, that and MythBusters.
Yes. Yes. We love the big. When it comes to MythBusters, we love big booms.
Yes, we do.
Johnny wants big boom.
Johnny loves big booms.
Now then, gentlemen. Now, if you had to describe one scene or one part of the movie that you were kind of, what would it be?
That I was kind of
Yeah, I'm like, it could have been better.
Nothing really, actually.
It's pretty solid for what it is. What do you got in mind?
Mostly the very beginning. Because it felt like a little recap.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
And that was
And
my
your
only
point?
gripe with it. That was my only gripe. The fact that it's a recap.
Well, yeah.
Well, they have to do that. They did that in the second movie.
But how much of the second movie was a recap?
The first few minutes.
It felt a lot longer in this one.
I don't know.
Because we had 1955 Doc's overreaction. Marty had to explain it to him. They had to go out and find another DeLorean to prove that yes.
I liked the bit in 1955 because again I liked I liked seeing Christopher Lloyd just be that part of the doc.
I know, right?
And I especially like could I look myself up in the old newspaper archives? I mean, I just love I love that.
Hold on, guys. That was the DeLorean, you folks.
That did not sound like a DeLorean.
You have too good of ears.
And I'm the deaf one.
You should meet my wife.
I'm going to tell her you said that.
She knows I think of that. And she has nothing wrong with it because I accept her for that.
Good for you. I'm still telling her you said that on a podcast.
You can actually see. All right, so do you know you can actually see Clara at the train station before her actual appearance?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
When they're when they're looking at the map for over the old Show Nash Ravine, where they plan to push the DeLorean. In the background, just when Marty points out there actually is no bridge, if you look in between it in the distance, you will see Clara. Her back is turned, but it's definitely it's definitely her dress, is waiting for Doc to pick her up.
Right. One thing you just reminded me of.
What?
There is one thing from part 2 that we should be thankful for: the hoverboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And let's be honest, everybody wanted that thing to return.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, it was glorious how it was utilized. Like, it made like a minute hero save, kind of like the Rex in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freaking, like, it wasn't even shown in the whole movie. Only at the end when Marty is on the train.
Oh, it was also
And
in the beginning.
Just to establish that it was there.
Yeah.
Which again, Zemeckis, master of Chekhov's gun.
Yep. Yeah. So, all right, for listeners, let me just give you a basic abridged version of what Chekhov's gun is. Actually, the movie Hot Fuzz is a good example of that. Pretty much, if there's any kind of mention or of something, like say a bomb, sooner or later it's gonna go off.
Or if the camera pans to something that looks pretty suspicious, it's like, why is the camera focusing on that? Chances are it's gonna get used.
Mm-hmm.
Like an ancient relic from Battleship called a Missouri. The very old warship from World War II.
Okay.
You haven't seen Battleship, have you?
No.
Yeah, they're focusing on the very advanced battleships, and for some reason, they're like, this was used in World War II. Guess what gets used later on?
I'm guessing the old ship from World War II.
Yes.
And I'm guessing it kicks ass.
Yeah, because the hull is a lot heavier and more durable.
Okay. All right. Well, anywho, okay. Honestly, my favorite part would have to be the fistful of dollars little homage.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
I know. I mean, honestly, I like that Marty. I like the just badass moment that Marty has. I mean, he psychs Biffs out, kicks the gun away.
No.
Quick question.
Not Biff.
Sorry, Buford.
Quick question. Does that count as Chekhov's gun from the previous movie?
Technically, yeah.
Because, alternate 85 Biff was watching the Fistful of Dollars with that particular scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to wonder if Marty just subconsciously saw that and used it. And if he didn't see it, would he have gotten the idea in the first place?
I think maybe not. But then again, bulletproof vests are actually a common item in the trilogy. Doc was wearing a bulletproof vest that saved him from being shot by the Libyans.
Yep.
Yes, the Libyans!
Oh my God. I just love Doc's screams.
I know.
Yeah. his shocked facial reactions.
Yes. This is why we love Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Tyler, guess how old he turned a few days ago?
Don't tell me 85.
Close, but no.
86?
Colder. You're getting colder.
83.
Yes, exactly.
Damn. Now I feel old.
You feel old. I'm sure
Yeah.
he feels old as dirt.
Uh-huh.
I know.
But yeah, we love him.
Yes.
God, yes.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, well, gents, honestly don't know what else to say about this movie other than it's very well loved. Perhaps not as great as the first one. who knows? I certainly think it's actually better than the first one. The first one's a classic, yes, but 3 has more of a interpersonal connections to be had.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, like we said, like I said in the last podcast, number 2 is definitely kind of one of the weaker of the trilogies. When it comes to the sequels, part 3 is my favorite. And part 1 is just an overall icon. It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
That said, do you think that makes it better than the third?
I don't know if it's better or worse. It's definitely on a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree.
Oh, John, I have a question for you. You know, if the train going over the edge of the incomplete bridge, was that live?
No. What do you mean live?
Are you sure?
No. It was.
I think that was a model.
It was a model. It was a model that was
It's a damn good model.
It was a model that was shot at a very high frame rate, and then in post production, it was slowed down to give the impression of weight. It's the same technique that they used in Die Hard to make it look like the top of the building and the helicopter was blown up.
Okay, yeah, I just read here. I suppose it does say that the locomotive was live.
Live.
I have to see the source.
Like
a
live. Well, it was I'm sure it was when it was running. It was
when
it was on the tracks. I think when it was on the tracks.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to check, because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't chuck that over the edge.
No.
And honestly, just to name drop something, if you viewers are interested in learning more about Back to the Future, go to the Movies That Made Us on Netflix.
Oh yes, Back to the Future is on the movies that made us. So is Jurassic Park. So is Aliens. All the movies that we've talked about on the podcast.
And the in-depth discussion, the in-depth things that go about is amazing, especially in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was a live-action locomotive again, but model falling down and breaking.
Okay, yes. I just wanted to check. I was pretty sure they wouldn't chuck that over. I just wanted to be sure.
Now, the DeLorean being smashed to bits, that was live.
Yeah, let's see. I think actually, if you pause at just the right moment, just before the DeLorean is demolished, you can actually see some charges go off just beneath the car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of to help break it, just to help break it up.
Now, there is one thing that did look amazing to me as a kid: the spinning license plate.
Yes, the DeLorean's maiden and final voyage was accompanied by a spinning license plate.
Mm-hmm.
And Marty's first and last travel through time involved him diving into or out of the DeLorean.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
it was, and it's amazing, and it was amazing, and it always made me sad at the end of the movie that the journey is over.
Yeah. So, Ian, I kind of want your thoughts on a couple things. I wasn't here earlier, so what things did you like the most out of the movie?
Well, Doc's entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Doc's entrance is just so freaking badass. I love it.
Oh yeah. I love it too.
Definitely. That's just the best entrance for Doc ever.
My gosh, yeah.
I mean, compared to his other entrances, part one opens the door. I mean, he opens the door, comes out like Kramer with some kind of weird contraption on his head.
Yep.
Part two, he just crashes into some garbage cans. Comes out of the door again, in his usual over the top mode, wearing weird things, and says, "Marty, you got to come back with me."
And then this one, slow, methodical.
Quick question.
Dun,
God,
dun, dun,
did you,
dun.
did you talk about the
Dun,
fact
dun,
that, that Michael J. Fox was actually hanging?
We did mention that.
Okay.
And he does go into detail in his autobiography, which I did own, but I can't find anymore.
Oh man. But oh god, that's gotta be terrifying.
Yes. I think what was really great is that the movie does end on a very inspirational note.
I mean, how it can't get any more inspirational than ever because the marriage is fixed for Marty and Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Doc is happy. The future, and Doc says the fact that don't let what you think of the future is never set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's telling Marty that the fact that you already seen 2015 doesn't mean it'll be the same, which is pretty inspirational because you have to think of it. You would be thinking this entire trilogy that the future is always set in stone, that you can never change it. But the fact that now that the 2015 it may not even look like the way it was in the second movie anymore.
And it looks like our timeline.
And but you know what? You know why he says that? Because before he did travel to 1985, he did go to the 21st century to make sure his train flies. I mean, there's only so many tracks in America. And not much can, and I'm pretty sure you can't really go to 88 miles an hour, for most of them.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when he went back to 2015, I don't want to say Back to the Future because we're saying Back to the Future so much in this Back to the Future discussion. But when he went to 2015, he pretty much must have seen how different it was to when he visited there last. The McFlys are happy. The McFlys are happy. They're actually in a better neighborhood than Hilldale. And so
Marty probably made it big.
Probably made it big. And it happened right after the fax machine was erased.
Yeah. And so it's very inspirational to just grab destiny by the horn and just own it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, just make the future the way you want it to be. But don't be too careless. Don't be too arrogant.
And don't let failures knock you down, as Doc will show you on his journey. Because the DeLorean is his first successful experiment?
Yes, it was his first successful experiment.
And there is that theory that he tried to kill himself with Marty.
Oof. Yeah, I've heard. I didn't want to bring that up in part one.
Really?
Because that would just not. It would just make him. I felt like that. Just bringing that up would just make him a little bit unlikable.
That's why I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But it is pretty creepy, and if you think about it, it may hold a grain of truth, but I don't believe it.
It may hold, yeah, but he wanted to kill himself, with Marty right beside him. That's just a little. I'd expect that from Rick.
Right?
Tyler, I did mention in the first video that Christopher Lloyd has said that Rick and Doc could almost be like brothers, just one went on a different path.
Oh my god. But the fact of the matter is, don't let failures stop you from going forward, because eventually you'll end up winning.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's so much more inspirational than the whole accept your lot in life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Change it to what you want.
It's honestly, you don't see many endings like that. I mean,
You really don't.
there are certain endings where you beat the bad guy or you take down the overlord, and yes, those are inspirational to kind of take control of your life. This one is just telling you to take control of your own life in a different and unique way.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that it was we got to and we were told this throughout this whole trilogy by two really great friends. I mean, that's kind of what makes it more easy to swallow.
Oh yeah. You know, there's just a special feeling about seeing Back to the Future for the first time. All of them. It's just magical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's just, you can never recapture that first feeling of seeing it for the first time. And I envy people who get to see it for the first time, because it will be a magical experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, seeing the DeLorean appear for the first time, seeing it travel through time and leave that trail of flames, hearing that theme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm getting chills just describing it.
And when the journey is over, you feel nothing but just content. You're happy with the journey, and you are more than eager to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Movies today lack that. You know what? Movies today, I watch it, I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's that. I don't have the urge to rewatch anything anymore.
I don't know. The only
What about
movies
Dragon?
Which one?
Dragon.
Dragons? Okay, I'm talking live action, not animations. Animations just have more magical because of its style.
The only modern franchise that kind of comes close to that for me would be the Marvel movies, but I'm not gonna watch 20 movies, 20 movies in a row just to, what?
20 movies back to back,
just to, just for that just unbelievable ending in Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have never seen.
Oh, dude.
But no, honestly, there was a magic with some films in the 80s, 90s.
Oh, absolutely.
Early 90s, maybe, but
even some with the 2000s. I mean, there's a reason why Harry Potter and even Lord of the Rings was so loved by many.
But a lot of that has to do with talent and the fact that I don't know. Hans Zimmer is a great composer, but he holds nothing to John Williams or Alan Silvestri.
Yeah, Alan Silvestri, who really showed his range. As soon as we enter into 1885, that's kind of when the music, it has his style, but he switches up like the tone and rhythm. Like, it definitely has that Western feel to it.
Oh yeah. And so, no, not knocking on Hans Zimmer, but he has his own unique style, but it's almost one note.
It is kind of a little bit. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, I haven't heard anything from him that was as good as the ending of the Da Vinci Code, which was just amazing.
Honestly, the only soundtrack from Zimmer that comes to mind is Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, well, what about Lion King?
I still forget he's a part of that.
It was pretty good, but yeah, John Williams and Alan Silvestri, they're masters when it comes to music.
And honestly, Ian, you've seen Jurassic Park, you've seen Back to the Future. When you hear certain musical pieces, can you imagine the scenes just happening before your eyes? And you can just quote them verbatim.
All the time with Jurassic?
Yeah.
I mean, because honestly, Back to the Future and Jurassic Park in terms of their impact on film culture, Back to the Future is pretty damn close to Jurassic Park.
And I just associate that with music too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Dun, dun, dun. I can't even do it.
dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and
I gotta tell you that you don't want to be playing any music from Back to the Future while you're driving. You're gonna get a speeding ticket.
Okay, John. When I was driving here, I was going through a heavy thunderstorm, and I played up Dennis Steals the Embryo song on my.
Did you hear that, Ian?
Yes.
I felt like I was in Jurassic Park.
By the way, Matt won a couple contests in the Jeep.
Don't make me envious, man. Next thing you know, I'm gonna try to buy a trailer just to show them up.
Watch, I'm gonna buy the freaking helicopter from Jurassic World and show up in your yard with that.
Oh God.
Yeah, well, first you're gonna have to send me a photo of your license before you land.
I'm just
Are you really gonna care, John?
I'm just gonna ride in front of John's house with the two trailers from the Lost World and like, hey John, want to go road trip?
No.
Why?
He's seen the Lost World. He knows how those road trips end.
Uh-huh. Yes, I get the feeling that I'm gonna need some safety straps. Or maybe a grappling hook.
Do we have anything more to say about Back to the Future Part 3 or as a whole, the entire trilogy?
I got nothing left.
We keep saying this over and over for all these great movies. Watch it.
Yes, watch it. I would definitely have, and as I've said like many years ago, is that I challenge anyone who sees these movies and say anything bad about it.
I mean, you can nitpick here and there.
I don't think it was a time circuit thing. I think his phone died.
Oh. Well, regardless, there's a few things here and there yet you can pick, or nitpick, but overall, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think until we can get any further message of whether or not Tyler, I think we can move on to ratings.
For Back to the Future Part 3, I gotta say 9 out of 10.
Nice.
9 out of 10. Busted up, smashed DeLoreans out of 10.
All right. I think for me, I'd have to agree. It's definitely one of the better sequels. It was
one of the better sequels for an 80s movie.
For an 80s movie. The chemistry for Marty and Doc, it's still there. And it's great to find out a little bit more about Doc. The pacing is just amazing. It doesn't drag on too long, and nothing goes by too fast. And of course the final scene. And the final scene is of course amazing. Both the time travel scene and Doc's final visit. So, yeah, I would give Back to the Future Part 3. I give it 9 9 horses pulling the DeLorean out of 10. And Tyler sent me a message. He decided to one up us. He gives it a if you can't really see, there you go. He gives it a
Gotta
9.
focus.
I can't focus it. Well, he gives it a 9.5 out of 10.
Well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been fun, John. We haven't done a month event thing since 2019.
Nah, yeah, that's right. We haven't. And it was kind of nice to not. It was nice to not put in a whole lot of effort to do that, and also just fun to talk about our experiences.
Yeah. And if they ever do make a part 4,
if they do, yes, you gotta have.
Probably won't.
You gotta have Fox and Lloyd.
You have to, otherwise the fan base will riot.
There'll be a riot. There will be a coup onto Universal Studios.
Of Back to the Future fans. Part of me wants to see how that would look.
Yeah. All right. So, Tyler unfortunately got caught in a paradox.
Great.
Yeah. So he's gonna be gone for a little while. But don't worry.
Hopefully
folks,
he's out by next month.
Yeah. Don't worry, folks. He will return. He will return for the next month. Hopefully, if he's not too busy. All right. So with that out of the way, we now conclude our Back to the Future month. Happy Halloween, everyone. Hope you are safe out there. And be sure to join us next month when we continue our love of the 80s and 90s with The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Da 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 dun 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 dun.
All right. So now, all right. So, and we'll see you next time. This is John Murphy
and Ian Benoit and an absent Tyler Thyssen
signing off.